Hey there, this is guitarist Eric Skye. Challenge of the day. Going to talk about gear. Um, and rather than nerd out about all my gear, well, maybe I will a little bit. I just want to talk about sort of gear in general and maybe make the challenge about sort of thinking about the role it plays in your life and how it's serving your music. And now take everything I say with a big grain of salt because I think all my friends think I'm kind of like, probably the most minimal about all this stuff. It wasn't always that way, but for me, I found that maybe it's my ADD thing, but I need to keep it super, super simple. I just have two guitars. They're exactly the same except for the top wood. And I don't have classical guitars or electric guitars or 12-string guitars or basses or anything else. I find that I actually, you know, function better as a musician for me if I don't have a lot of options. I guess too many slippery slopes. So I figured out that I just need to focus on just sort of this one thing. So that works for me. That said, I fully realize that not everyone is that way. In fact, there's many people who are the opposite, and their whole gig is to be able to get lots of different sounds for lots of different people, and it's the opposite. But anyway, talking about my ideas today. But I like to just sort of challenge people to say, think about this. Kind of ties back into some earlier episodes about finding your own sound and finding your own style, and just make your choices and start thinking about what really serves that best. Maybe think if you have a lot of gear right now and maybe you're thinking it's dividing up my time too much. Think about what really makes sense for what I do, I guess, which is what is my sound, and maybe just consider focusing on that one thing. That's was really helpful for me. And then I think from like kind of a tech perspective too, I found that I haven't played an electric guitar since I think 1998 is when I sold all my electric gear. But even back then, I still felt like less is more, less is more. Just simple was good. The more crap that you run that signal through, the less. It's sort of like plumbing. The more kind of winding road it has to go, the less sort of pressure you're gonna have on the other end, right? So I was always like, just guitar, amp, short cable. If I'm gonna have a pedal, it's gonna be one. But just always less is more. And even with acoustic stuff, I feel the same way. The less crap I have, the better. I try to go guitar, mic, out, or sometimes I'll go into a pickup situation. But in general, just simple. So maybe that's a challenge too. Think about how you can simplify your sound so that chances are it'll probably be better and it'll probably be easier. You can do it in one car trip. But then the last little component to this is also in keeping with the idea of, practice as a lifestyle and trying to open up the most amount of time that you have and to utilize that time in a way that's always sort of pro-growth. I challenge you also to look at your gear habits in a way that, how much of this is like escapism and stuff too, I think, like, for example, if you're spending a lot of time kind of looking at catalogs and things and thinking, I'll be great when I have that, or I'll have my sound when I have that. I think just, not to be preachy, but again, just take it with a grain of salt, but just think about that, like how much time is being spent in that little fantasy world that could be used towards really kind of moving the ball down the field with your playing. So believe me, I figured this out the hard way. I've definitely been down that road, and I still do it. My little fetish at the moment is microphones. So I love looking at websites and things about microphones, but I definitely have this ability to sort of eventually catch myself and go, okay, this isn't really about microphones, and I'm probably never going to buy this one. I think I'm just wasting time right now. So let's kind of get back to work. So there's some thoughts about gear, and I hope that's interesting to you. Over and out.